There's just so much about walking in a rainforest that I can't explain in words, and I can't show it to you in pictures. You really just got to come to one of these places. You know, if your family takes a vacation in some place like Belize or Panama or Costa Rica or Dominican Republic or Puerto Rico or Venezuela, any of these places, or if you have family living in these places, don't just stay in town. Don't just sit home and watch movies. Don't just go to the beach. Get out. These rainforests there's just no words for it. You just have to be here. That's all there is to it. Get out and come and visit.
So the cable can in fact go out to the side.
I want to take a look at what you're doing over here, because one of the things that I find so enjoyable about my little trips is I usually go places where there's other specialists like yourself.
Here are the micros.
And this is John Hepner, who is a specialist in what we call micro Lepidoptera. Would you put your index finger next to those moths so we can see? These are really, really tiny moths. And he's able to spread them with tiny pins. And there's my index finger for comparison. And then these are the big ones for John. These are the giants. These are moths with a wing spread of as much of an inch and a half. But they're just lined up in battalions because you're going to relax them and spread them when you get home sometime. Because you wouldn't really have the room or the time to do all this, but the tiny ones you need to do right now. And you've discovered many new species in your time, is that correct?
Oh, yeah, lots of new ones.
Kids like big numbers. Would you say you've spread 1 million moths in your life?
I probably pinned 1 million.
Pinned 1 million. You know, 1 million's a big number, folks, but...
that's a big number. That's in 40 years, probably.
Yeah, but you know, it's what I love about these kind of trips is I meet fern specialists, snake specialists, bat specialists, frog specialists,
Try to get Terry.
orchid specialists. There's a butterfly specialist right there. Very wet. He's just come back from the field and it is pouring outside. And Terry mostly does butterflies. But you know, in a lifetime of going to places like this, you meet all kinds of specialists doing. It's just fascinating to find out what other people have become expert at. The things you never think about. Small mammal specialists, orchid specialists, yeah, bromeliad specialists, and dragonfly specialists.
Well, I was certainly impressed with Ed Fuller being a turkey specialist.
Very special.
And dragonfly specialists. Hey, Saturday morning after 2 solid days of pouring rain. It is, after all, what's called montane cloud forest. And we're here in the rainy season. And what you expect is lots and lots of rain. So, this morning, I had 3 things you don't get in the rainforest very often. A hot shower, a whole set of dry, clean clothes, and a sunny morning. So when you're a tropical ecologist, when you get a sunny morning like this up in the mountains, what you do is have breakfast, get dressed, and get out into the woods as fast as you can to get in whatever time you can. Because basically, what time is it now? Just after 8. By 11 o'clock, it's anybody's guess that the clouds will be up here and it'll be pouring rain again. Between 11 and 1, it's a sure thing that the rain will set in. So I got up early, well, no earlier than usual, but the dragonflies probably won't be out hopping until 10 or 11, but it's 8 o'clock here, maybe 8:30, and it's my job to walk at a brisk pace and get to a good spot, which for me is a stream or a river in the deep forest, So when the sun rises high enough to fall deep into those valleys over there, I'll be there. I can't wait till it warms up to start walking, because in the hour and a half it takes me to get to a good destination to collect, the clouds may come in, and then my day is shot. So I'm going up this path here, and you're going up that path there.
Yeah.
All right. And we've got our little radios, and so if I decide I'm going to call it quits on this one, when I get over the ridge and start going down Puma, I'll see if you're around.
That's right. Well, we should be down here.
Yep. Actually, the sun is getting down into the ravines over here, so you might have some sunnier weather than I do at this time of day, but I don't know, it's starting to crown those trees. It might get down in there by the time I'm up.
One way to find out.
And so I shall.
Check it out.
You can see how darkened it is. It's kind of gloomy down here, actually. The camera is actually making it look brighter than it is. If you look up top, in the background up there, you can see the sun is already hitting the sides of the hills, but it's not reaching all the way down in the valleys. And for the dragonflies to be flying, most of them need sunlight shining right on them. So even though it's just after 8 o'clock and the bugs might not fly till 10 or 11, I got to be hiking now, because when that sun finally is high enough to reach the bottom of the valley, I got to be in the right spot. Well, at this point I've been at it for about an hour, and the trail is going very steeply uphill. And the one question I wasn't clever enough to ask was, does the trail end at the spring, or does it keep going and connect with something else? And right now I'm not near the sound of any water at all. And at this altitude, which is thousands of feet up, I've really added hundreds and hundreds of feet altitude. I'm getting bushed. And I just did a fairly slippery, steep climb. I think at this point I'm gonna throw in the towel and go back downhill till I get to the first water I see, and hope that was the spring, because I'm done right now. It's a beautiful place, but I need to find the water. What are the dangers? What are the dangers, you might ask, of going out on a trip like this? You know, if I tell people I'm going insect collecting in the tropics, it doesn't sound very treacherous. There are hazards. They are mostly associated with being by yourself out in the middle of the forest, you know? It's not a very dangerous country. And it doesn't have a lot of venomous reptiles in the mountains. What the hazards are, these steep trails I'm walking by myself. Nobody knows exactly where I am. They know what trail I intended to go up. If I slip and fall and break a leg or twist an ankle or hit my head on a rock and knock myself unconscious. There's only 2 venomous snakes up this high, but they both look just like a piece of mossy tree bark. If I were to put my hand on one of those and get bit, if I suffered an allergic reaction to a bee or wasp or an ant sting, and I'm not a very allergic person, but if I was, you know, a good bee sting could knock me out here. And it would be a long, long time before somebody found me. It would be lunchtime before they began to wonder if I was doing all right or where I was. And then they'd have to take a guess that I was way up this trail, and then they'd find me. But, you know, stuff could happen. So one of the reasons I just turned around and I'm heading back down into the valley is because I wasn't finding the water anymore. The second reason was it was getting really hard, steeper and steeper and steeper, and the altitude keeps getting higher. The third reason is it's slipperier and trickier, and a better chance I'd slip and fall and hurt myself. And I'm here by myself. There's not another human being close enough to hear me call for help. And though Nick and I have two-way radios, walkie-talkies, there's a mountain range between us right now, and he wouldn't hear me from here. So I'm just going back down the hill, and the sun is still shining down in the valley. I can see it over there, so hopefully I'll find some place good to work. There's monkeys around me. I can hear them moving through the tree branches, and you can hear them going, ow, ow. Okay, I'm back down 100 or so feet, and I have just decided, I've made an executive decision that this is the spring for which the spring trail is named. It's the last real water I crossed. And no sooner had I got here than a wispy little damselfly flew in front of me. And there it is. This is what I walked an hour and a half through the jungle for. An undescribed species of damselfly. I believe this is the one Nick caught himself last year or a couple of years ago. So far, undescribed species. And I don't know that this is what Nick got, but it's the right kind of bug for where he said to come. And I got this within, I don't know. I think I was standing at this creek for about 30 seconds when this bug flew in front of me. The sun is coming out. It's just bright enough down. This is exactly what all that walking was for. And this is the moment of discovery that it takes. So when you hear me mention that I've discovered new species of dragonflies or whatever, you know, almost anybody in the field of entomology, insect science, can discover new species. There's nothing magical about it. What it is hard work and determination. You gotta really work to get to the places nobody's been, and this is one of those places that virtually nobody's been. This has become a very good morning for me. It's getting on 10:30. I've just caught this monster. It's a female. Her egg-laying thing is at the end of her abdomen, that point down there. She's called Corduligaster. It's a very primitive, large dragonfly. They live in really special habitats. And this makes the 4th species I've caught this morning, which is a very good take in foreign territory. The moth guys get hundreds and hundreds of species every night. But if a dragonfly man gets 4 or 5 things he doesn't recognize or has never caught before in one day, that's a good day. So it's going well, and the blue sky is holding up. Somewhere down there are the Donnellys. See if I can raise them on my radio. Yo, 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 John to Donnelly, John to Donnelly's, John to Donnelly's.
Where are you at, John?
I'm up at the point looking over the valley.
Okay, well, we're down the Puma Trail. We've been down to the angled corner and stayed there quite a while, and now we're just slowly walking back up.
So you're coming back the way you went down?
Affirmative.
I'll meet you on the way.
Greetings.
Greetings.
So, how was your trip?
My day was perfectly excellent. Ask me what I got.
What'd you get?
How about everything?
Really?
2 different kinds of Argia, 2 different heterynas, Cordialigaster,
Well, you got a Cordialigaster.
and your new bug.
You did get the new one.
Was the very... I went up that trail and till across the stream a couple times, and then it started going very steeply up. Almost hand over hand steeply up. Slippery and sliding. Míralo, está como bravo. Está bien. Look.
You guys watching them? You should see with the binoculars.
No, I'm getting it with this boy. You still have a good view over here? Still have a good view here? Yeah, just closer. Good. Yeah, perfect. Oh, yeah. I'm actually here on a pretty odd errand today. The day started out not very sunny and overcast and looked like it might not be a very good day for bugs. And a couple days ago, Kevin and Shane and Jeff and I were walking this trail, and they found a porcupine that had been shot and left for dead hanging in the tree. Hunters do come in here. It's called poaching. You're not allowed to hunt. This is a park. But unusually, they shot this one, I think, just out of boredom. Like, oh, there's something, let's shoot it. And it died hanging in the tree, and they left it there. So I've come back to collect the skull from this porcupine. I'm going to take a knife and cut the dead porcupine's head off, and I'm going to put the head in a Ziploc bag, bring it back to camp, and find an old crummy pot they don't care about. I'm going to boil it till all the stuff comes off it, and I have a clean porcupine skull, tropical porcupine. And so that's what we're up about today. I won't get real close to this with the idea of decency in mind. There is the carcass of the dead porcupine just hanging, and I'm going to carefully remove its head and bring it back. And I won't show you the whole operation. But that's it right there. Well, that's it. Mission accomplished. It won't surprise you to hear that the porcupine's a very spiny kind of animal to work with. But here it is, the head wrapped up in some leaves so that the quills won't poke through my backpack. And in a couple hours it'll be home, it'll be back at camp in a kettle, and we'll see if we can extract it. Kind of cool though. Check on the status of our porcupine. It is now boiling away. I'm not going to close in. I'll spare my students that. But that is a pot of porcupiney goodness. Of course, it's not going to be food. We're just boiling the meat off the bones, and we're going to have a prepared skull. So after about an hour in the pot, most of the flesh has been cooked right off it, and all of a sudden it all falls away, and there you've got a skull. Now it still has some bluch attached to it, so I'll probably do something else to it. But right now it is boiling hot and can't be handled. So I'll figure out what I'm going to do with it a little bit later on today. It's a thing like a ringtail called a cacomissile. Never heard of one either. There he is. Coming down the tree. He's thinking about it. They're cute. Kind of like cute raccoons. They're like a little bit like kitty cats. They have long ringtails. And he's thinking about coming back. That noise you're hearing in the distance is the generator that John Hepner needs to use to attract moths in the middle of the jungle. He has to run his own electric power. Very cute, not very scared. Not very scared at all. Yep, he's eating bugs. Grabbed a beetle, off he goes. Now we're on the Rio Indio in a town called El Valle in central Panama. It hasn't been going that great. It is a beautiful place. Gorgeous rivers, streams, all the stuff you'd look for. You know, over and over on this trip in the last couple days, I've said to myself, all I need is sunshine and a beautiful habitat, and we gotta find stuff, but we haven't been finding it lately. And for the last 2 or 3 days, it's been kind of a bust for the dragonfly team. The moth guy is doing fine wherever he goes. He turns on lights and the moths come. The butterfly guy's a little bit like us. The days aren't great. They're sunny and beautiful, but a little stuff. And he's kind of been taking moths at night with the moth guy as a consolation prize. He'd rather be collecting more butterflies. This valley is actually quite nice for butterflies. But over and over the last week, the dragonfly folks just aren't finding anything. In fact, it's absolutely strange. These beautiful, beautiful places we're in, like this river behind me, and the bugs just aren't there. And I'm starting to come to the conclusion that there must be some strong seasonality to the dragonflies in the highlands of Panama. Whatever it is or it isn't, it's not August for dragonflies in the highlands of Panama. But we're gonna try to get in the car today and drive up into the hills a little bit to some nice streams and see if our luck improves. Wow. Yeah, it is absolutely nuts. We're experiencing a colossal tropical downpour. The weather has not been great for most of this week for dragonflies, but we've gotten some sun all the time. But today it has opened up. And the river that we've been trying to collect on, you hop from rock to rock. Right now it is turning into a whitewater torrent. I'm gonna see if I can get under an umbrella without ruining this camera. Let's see if we can get close. Look at the sidewalk is us all underwater. Wow. Absolutely nuts. I don't know when I've been in such a experience. This is it. This is rainy season. Bang. Look at this little creek across the river. This was a creek you tiptoed up in puddles. I think I may know now why we're not getting a lot of dragonflies on this stream. What tiny insect could possibly hang on through this? Holy moly! The rain is actually blowing right through my umbrella and hitting me on the head. Wow. Oh. The rain is actually going clear through this umbrella. It's atomizing through it and coming through as drops.
Wow.
Rainy weather. You two got caught in it.
Yes, we did indeed. But our little ponchos helped.
I was just walking under an umbrella and I'm soaking wet. And now a couple hours later, these rocks were all, water was going right around these rocks. The water was up to these trees here. And those two boulders, which are about 5 feet long and about 3 or 4 feet above the water now, they were totally submerged. Elsa and I were commenting on how we could just start to see that white boulder showing through. So it's just amazing. You can see where the water was running over the bank and over here. 2 hours later, and we're halfway back to normal. What you looking at?
I'm looking at you. You get to look at this in a minute.
Okay.
Yep.
Our family photo album.
No, this is her photo album.
Her very special.
A very special photo album.
Oh, graduation.
And look, I'll show you something. She's going to show it to you in a minute. Look, she's wearing the same.
Yes.
There you go.
Yep, the same headdress we saw the women in town when they were waiting to perform something, right? Folk dance.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah. Gracias.
This part of our expedition's been a strange bust for the dragonfly people. The moth guys have been doing okay at night, but there's not a lot of birds here. I think there's too much agriculture nearby. It looks like rainforest right behind me, but just past that little screen of rainforest is really quite a lot of pasture land and chicken farms. And if you look up in the woods behind me, that's all green grass back there rather than trees. So we're beginning to suspect that maybe a lot of agricultural chemicals and waste from chicken farms is getting into these rivers and changing the ecology down here. We don't know. Maybe we got here at a bad time of year. Most tropical places are not that seasonal, but we're just not finding much. Nick finally today found a species of dragonfly he would expect to find in such nice looking rainforest, but he found one beat up, very old specimen, so maybe it's the wrong time of year. Anyway, tomorrow we move on to our last primary destination on this trip. We're going to a place in Colón in eastern Panama. It's going to be lowland. It's going to feel more tropical in temperature, hopefully. And with a little luck, we'll get 4 or 5 days of sunny weather. And then we'll see what this country can offer us. Because so far, it's been touch and go. And the last several days, basically nothing at all.